Hey, Zags Procurement. Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the good afternoon. Mahalo for joining us for joint hearing. GVO and our amazing friends from Energy and Intergovernmental Affair. Amazing. Thursday, April 2nd, 2026, 3 p.m. Conference room 225 being streamed on YouTube. If we run into any snags, we will go ahead and reconvene to discuss any business left over. 3 p.m. Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. This room 225 with a public notice on the legislative website. We have a 2-minute limit on testimony we can read, and so we appreciate you expanding on it, but I don't think we'll have that problem today. So, given that, we'll kick right into it, which is SCR 178, 173, SR 173, urging all state and county agencies involved in construction and procurement to implement prompt payment transparency measures and expressing appreciation to the Public Works Division of DAGS for its efforts. First up is DAGS.
Stand on our testimony.
Stand strong, love it. Okay, next up we have Sheet Metal Contractors Association of Hawaii. They have written in support. We have Master Sheet Metal. They, I believe, are a subsidiary, but they want to express their support as well, and that is Kevin Hirayama and of the first group and Cheryl Ann Shimizu of the second. We have Plumbers and Mechanical Contractors Association written in support. We also have Tim Lyons. You're on Zoom. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Chair Wakai. First of all, we want to express our appreciation for the two of you working together to schedule this reso. I know you got a lot of other important things to do. This whole issue has to do with transparency, and it has to do with retainage. Retainage is, of course, is a concept where government withholds a little bit from the prime contractor to ensure everything goes right. In turn, the prime contractor withholds from the subcontractor. The subcontractor does not have a contract with the state. So even if they request information on the progress of that particular job or the payments, they generally will not get it because they're not a party to the contract as far as that agency is concerned. So this was such an issue back in 2006 that prompt payment legislation was passed. And right after that, DAGS had the foresight to start a website for prompt payment. We've attached a copy of what that does to our testimony, but basically this resolution is asking other agencies to follow suit. The DAG site helps tremendously with subcontractors getting paid in a timely manner, but other agencies have not adopted it at all. So we're just trying to encourage them to do so. And thank you for your time.
No, thank you for being here and testify via Zoom, Tim. Next up, we have Electrical Contractors Association in support. We have Hawaii Architecture Metals written in support. Individual Lisa Kim, she is in support. We have Late from IBEW, Local 1186. They have written in support. And then we also have Late from Ryan Takahashi of the Hawaii Electricians Market Enhancement Program. I believe that's all we have on the resolutions. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, are there any questions? Seeing none, you want to just roll right into it?
Let's go.
Recommendation, we go as is. Since there was all testimony support and nobody seemed to ask for any amendments. Sounds like a plan?
Sounds great.
Okay, great, sounds good. Okay, recommendation on these two resos, 178, 173 is as is. I vote yes.
For GVO, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Hashimoto. Excuse. Senator Moriwaki.
Aye. Yeah.
She's here, thank
Senator
you.
Owa. Excuse. The measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you, everybody. That concludes the joint hearing. Oh, no, whoa, sorry. Sorry. My good friends from EIG. How dare I? My liege, how dare I? Oh, my liege, forgive my president. Forgive. Please, EIG.
Okay, EIG, we're ready to roll. Same recommendation to pass these two resolutions as they are. Any discussion? If not, Senator Chang, I vote yes.
Chair's recommendation is to pass SCR 178 and SR 173 unamended. Chair votes yes. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator DeCoit is excused. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator Favela is excused. The recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you. This does conclude the hearing.
It sure does.
Okay, I was scared to drop the hammer. Okay, bye. Okay, welcome back to the solo GVO hearing, April 2nd, 2026, 3:05 PM, convene in conference room 225. Got the usual 2-minute, oh God, don't say 10, 2-minute limit on testimony. If something happens and things taken offline, we'll reconvene to discuss any outstanding business. At our next hearing date, which I believe will be Tuesday, in this room with a notice posted on the website, but I don't foresee that anything happening. Okay, first up, we have GM 773, Paula Youngling, for a term to expire 6/30/2030 for the Procurement Policy Board. Testifying on her behalf in support is Dags.
Chair, Vice Chair Keith Regan, Comptroller for the State of Hawaii, Department of Accounting and General Services. You have my written testimony in support of this nomination. I think Ms. Youngling's presence and addition to this board will be extremely helpful. As someone who also sits on the Procurement Policy Board, we need people with this kind of background and experience to help us work through some of the major issues that we're trying to solve and improve our procurement process. So I think she would be a great addition to our team in this regard, and I would urge you to please pass her out through advice and consent.
Yeah, and consent.
So thank you.
Okay, thank you for being here. SPO,
It was a long day.
it's been a real long day.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, member of the committee, Bonnie Kaukui, Administrator, State Procurement Office. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony today. I'm pleased to offer strong support for Paula Youngling to the Procurement Policy Board. With more than 2 decades of experience in procurement, contracting, public sector leadership, Paula has a deep understanding of procurement law, operations, and has always displayed exceptional judgment and integrity with all facets of procurement. Her extensive service in the state and county, including her prior role with the State Procurement Office, makes her exceptionally uniquely qualified to be in this role. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much for being here and testifying. We've also received support for the nominee from University of Hawaii. I'm just going to read it out because I don't think they're here. Director Sniffen from Department of Transportation in strong support. Andrew Kawano, City and County of Honolulu, Budget and Fiscal Services in support. Michael Fromby, City and County Honolulu Mayor's Office, they are in support. Robert Yu, Oahu Transit Services, they are in support. Ryan Sakuda, General Contractors Association, in support. We also have Richard Hensel, Lance Inouye, Lisa Maruyama, Tammy Lee, David Ha, and Chris Clark, all who've submitted testimony as individuals in support. Also Stephanie Letro, Carrie Castle, Deputy Director for City and County of Honolulu, Budget, Fiscal Services, they have written in support. And finally, late from an individual, Nicole Chapman, in support. So that's all we have on the nominee. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to testify? If not, would the nominee like to come forward? That's the last testifier. I do a little differently. We kind of go through everybody who's here to support you, then we have it. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you stepping up to serve. Quite a bit of testimony and strong support. Just a couple questions. In your view, in working with the Procurement Policy Board, this has been an ongoing discussion. Do you think there's a need for us to look at providing more teeth, for lack of a better word, to the Procurement Office?
Thank you very much, Chair, Vice Chair, for consideration. So I think it's an interesting question. And I think especially for the Procurement Policy Board, one of the things that the Policy Board that does, they have authority for is to audit and to monitor. Okay, and it's something I don't know how well we've explored in the past with the Procurement Policy Board, but if it is more teeth associated with the board itself, I think that could be looked into and to see how we can maybe leverage that if the State Procurement Office notices trends in certain areas or in certain departments. I know from just being in an operational standpoint, having someone maybe call you in to talk through your procurements and your, the way that you're implementing the policy, the rules, the laws, can be humbling, right? And can influence behavior. So that's one thing from the start of the board. As for the authority and abilities for the State Procurement Office, I think there are very broad things that the State Procurement Office can do, but not knowing kind of all the bad actors in the states
Yeah,
and things like
yeah.
that, I think that's something that definitely is worthy of discussions.
Okay, very, very good. One of the other issues, I'm just getting your thoughts on this, there's a bill moving forward to reexamine the use of the word frivolous. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's probably a very good idea. I think it's I don't know of anywhere in the law where it's defined. So kind of having something more definitized to hang your hat on when it gets down to those elements is very important. So I think that's well considered.
Okay, great. Members, are there any questions of the nominee? Yes.
Yes, no, thank you. You have had experience both federal, state, and county. And looking at procurement laws, they're very dense. And, in order to get people to follow the code, what kinds of things can you do from the policy board perspective, other than just policies and rules? Like training, or what kinds of other things that you've seen elsewhere in your experience that we could we could still follow all the procurement laws, but make it easier for people to follow, and you don't have to enforce as much because they're following the rules.
Absolutely. So I think the thing that's the best approach, and one that the State Procurement Office and the Policy Board are currently engaged in, is going through the Hawaii administrative rules right now to see where they can be cleaned up, where they can be streamlined and modernized. And so I think above any other thing that I can suggest, it's something that I haven't seen my entire time in being here, and something that's been sorely needed for a very long time. So I really commend the SPO, the Procurement Policy Board, for taking that on. It's really kind of one of the reasons that prompted me to actually consider being on the board because of the Herculean task that's going to be. So I think it's a great question, and I think they're engaged in exactly what needs to happen to streamline and ensure uniformity without kind of compromising the transparency and fairness that the rules provide already.
So in the development, and I think you've been to these meetings already, but how are you engaging the users of the procurement code? Because what sometimes happens is that we will do it, like even passing laws that are very hard to execute. So are you getting any feedback from departments, users, as well as those who enforce?
So within my own, I work for the City and County of Honolulu, and so usually either myself or my deputy will attend the Procurement Policy Board meetings, and also some of my staff. We have one of our sections that's heavily engaged in policy, so they will provide immediate feedback on, and have been really good participants, I think, in the Procurement Policy Board. Also, just kind of on my own, I have kind of a little hooey going with our other counties, Hawaii, Maui, and Kauai. And so we try to engage as much as possible when we see things that are coming up, or even things that are talked about in the Procurement Policy Board, just to kind of discuss as kind of the operational groups from the different counties. So that's kind of what I've done just outside of being on the Procurement Policy Board, just in day-to-day engagement with what's going on, because it's such an important thing that they're doing right now.
I think that's great in terms of having the counties more involved, because we set the standard at the state level, but we don't know what the impact is, and the counties have to follow what we pass.
That's what your chair's
Thank you.
experience is good. No, thank you, Senator. Really appreciate those questions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions? If not, thank you for coming up, addressing the committee. We'll be doing decision-making at the end.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Thank
All right, we'll move on to the next one, which is GM 749, Elizabeth Gregg. First up, we have testifying for Hawaii Police Department, Reed Mahuna, submitting written in support. We've also received testimony and support from the Maui Police Department and an individual, Corey Schaefer. That's all we received for in support of the nominee. Elizabeth, are you there?
Yeah.
Great, thank you for joining us for the hearing today. We just had a couple questions for you. You have great experience from the private sector, especially with your role with AT&T. And so, your thoughts and observations and, on this board with given the technology issues it faces is very important. But what are your thoughts on the FirstNet program and the reauthorization, and how do you think that might play into perhaps things that the board is looking at, or just generally speaking?
Well, I'm a little biased when it comes to the FirstNet reauthorization.
It's quite all right.
One of the things that it's very important that it gets reauthorized because we just hit year 9, but we've added so many different tools and resources for first responders that actually adopt the FirstNet solution. And part of that is like the customer owned and maintained cell sites that they can have, their mini cell sites that they can pop up anywhere they need to have services available to them if a cell site is to go down. We're also a great resource for, a failover for the PSAPs if their internet would go down, right? So there's a lot of reasons that FirstNet should reauthorize, including increasing capacity, increasing coverage in areas that normally are not a site that's looked at by carriers because there's not a population there, right? So I'm hoping Congress is going to push that through.
Okay, thank you. And then finally, one of the conversation pieces has been going on with the 911 board has been the 911 special fund and perhaps needing to raise the ceiling for the fund. Do you have any thoughts on the 911 special fund insofar as that goes?
So I know that we had the ceiling raised, I believe it was the last year. But I do think that situation that we should be aware of in case we have some large projects coming through, because right now we're working through the move to next generation, right? So a lot of costs associated with that when you're looking to procure the services and the equipment to better equip our PSAPs.
Okay, thank you. Members, are there any questions? Senator Moriwaki,
Yes,
please go ahead.
just to build on the chair's question. So on the special fund, I know that it builds up and there's a lot of money in there. How does the board look at that so that there is integration or consolidation or sharing of resources across the counties? Because is it that you're all divvied up and you just get your share and you just do whatever you do for your county? Or is there any kind of connectivity statewide? Do you know? You've been on the board, yeah, already. So
I've been,
yeah.
And so currently the counties all manage their own services, but a lot of what we find is that as one county finds a solution, if it's beneficial, then they share that knowledge, right, with the other counties. And the big piece is trying to see if there are resources that can be reutilized. Obviously, cost savings are very much a forefront of the mind set for the board. And so it's one of those pieces. It's a little difficult to maneuver at times just because of the fact that each county is their own entity, and they all run a little different than the others, right? When no one follows the same cookie cutter per se.
So how are the funds allocated across the counties then? Do you all have like a portion of what comes in each year, or how do you, or do you just submit what you need and the board approves it or doesn't approve it? How does that work?
So I don't work for the county. I work for AT&T. So I from a county perspective, what I see is on the board, they do submit what their purpose to for their different PSAPs, right? So each, dependent upon where each PSAP is in their build out or their renew of equipment, because you may all be on a different end of life for the existing equipment. So they ask at this point specific to each PSAP. As we move to NG 911, there may be different parameters just because of the fact that we're going to be pulling in a new solution.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
You good?
I'll wait.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions? If not, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go to decision-making at the end, Elizabeth, but thanks for being here today for testifying on your nomination.
All right, thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll move on to the next one on the agenda, which is submitting consideration confirmation to the 911 Board gubernatorial nominee Stephen Courtney for a term to expire 06/30/2029, Governor's Message 783. Testifying on behalf of the nominee is Reed Mahuna, Police Chief of the Hawaii Police Department. They've sent communications to the committee in support. Davalin Racadio, EMS Dispatch Coordinator for the Maui Police Department, has also submitted testimony in strong support of the nominee. That's all we have with the nominee. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? If not, would the nominee like to come up? Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate you stepping up to serve. First of all, I actually wanted to dovetail off the senator's previous.
Well, actually, I did have a statement to read.
Oh,
please, by all
yes,
means.
statement
Go for it.
first.
Okay, well, anyway, yeah, good afternoon, Chair McKelvey, Vice Chair Gabbard, and Vice Chair Moriwaki. My name, again, is Stephen Courtney, and I'm seeking reappointment to the Hawaii 911 Board. I currently serve as Deputy Director of the Department of Information Technology for the City and County of Honolulu, a role that I've held for more than 5 years, overseeing 5 divisions and nearly 170 talented staff members. I bring information technology experience from the intelligence community, the Department of Defense, and municipal government. For the past 4 years, I have also been a member of the Hawaii 911 Board, where I have worked closely with fellow board members to safeguard and advance our state's emergency communication system. I am deeply committed to the board's mission of delivering reliable, equitable 911 service to every resident and visitor of Hawaii. During my tenure, I have seen firsthand how the board's decisions shape community safety, from securing funding for critical public safety answering point upgrades to guiding the adoption of emerging technologies. If reappointed, I will continue to ensure that the 911 fund is used wisely, that our PSAPs have the resources they need, and that Hawaii stays at the forefront of modern emergency communication capabilities. Thank you for your consideration, and I welcome any questions.
Okay.
Go ahead, you
No,
can.
Senator Moriwaki, you want to?
No, I think it's the same question I asked. Mr. So how does the board operate in terms of allocating funds that come in? Because you have a lot coming in every
Yes,
year.
yeah.
And so how does that work?
Okay, well, I guess each of the counties, they will submit for funding, and we do try to make sure that they're equitable in regards to the technology that they have. And, but as you know, some counties may not be at the same time as far as the equipment. So they may have equipment that needs to be refreshed at 1 year, whereas another county may have a refresh that may be needed, let's say maybe 2 years away. So in that sense, so it does change from year to year, but overall, we do try to make sure that technology-wise, they're at the same level.
So is there any, I mean, you have members from the technology sector where you're looking at how do we upgrade our equipment so that, you know, if, for example, we have another big disaster, that kind of information can be, you can get help from other counties, and at least information is going back and forth on those who need first responder responses, that we have some kind of standard across the board for all counties. And if, for example, one county doesn't have the technology, that would get more allocation so that they can be sort of at the same level. And we're constantly improving our equipment and our training.
Yes.
Is that a 911 board responsibility?
Yes, because the main function of the board is to maintain that fund in regards to making sure we have the funds available. The other side is the technology side to it as well, to make sure, again, all the counties have the right technology. And we try to keep track in regards to any new sort of devices, equipment that's out there. So, and we'll periodically have vendors that will tell us about what sort of new things that are out there. And so that's how we sort of keep up with the technology. And I'm always looking at things as well. So as a just as a side note there, so there's things technology-wise, even like AI that's out there. So I'll try to keep track of those things. And again, we will try to make sure each county does have the most up-to-date equipment. And with this next generation 911, that really in itself will equalize the whole system, because once we get to that level, then all the counties will pretty much will be at probably at that premier level in regards to having the standard, because that's the thing right now. Not each county is at the same level as we'd like to, but with NG 911, we will get there.
So when does that NG 911 get into play? Is that a federal requirement, and do we have a timeline for that?
Well, our timeline is about 5 years, and I should say, going back, I guess, historically, because the first 911 was back in the 60s, and it was the old copper lines and actually with the landlines. So we actually, what we call the enhanced 911 is really where we're at right now, because we do have some of the features of NG 911, like the location service, the numbering service, selective router, things like that, that kind of gets us almost to NG 911, but we're not quite there yet. And with with NG 911, though, once we can get to that point where we can get to that level, and as long as we have that funding that's available to do it, then again, it will get us really to that point where we will have the means to provide that same equitable service. So, like, say, if somebody has a video that they want to get to a dispatcher with NG 911, that would be possible.
How far are we from that, from getting that kind of equipment, or is that equipment available? And do you have the funding with your?
Well, we do have the, right now we do have the funding, but we just want to make sure we can get there. And as far as the funding, we're like at about $40 million, and I believe something like 10 million is already encumbered. So we still have like 30 million that's unencumbered right now. And we need that funded just to make sure we can get there. But I would say probably the next 5 years, that's something that we could achieve. And we're also looking at other states. We actually had them, I guess, brief us in regards to, I believe it's in North Carolina, I believe they're already at NG 911 already. And so we're talking to them to see how it went for them. And of course, there's sort of smatters of other states that are in that status, but for the most part, we do like to, again, hear what other states that have done it successfully, because we don't want to make those same mistakes as well.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of the nominee? Seeing none, thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and finish the rest of the GMs, and then we'll go into decision-making, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, next up, we have 784. Is this the one that's not going to show? There's no script in here.
There is.
I don't see it.
Gomez.
1 second, everybody. Let's see. Okay, this is the problem. Nope, got it. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, Terrence Gomez was DM 784 to the 911 board. We had received communication that unfortunately he was not able to make it here. So we're going to defer this nomination hearing to a later date. It will be time certain, but it was because of this unexpected emergency that they weren't able to join us. So it's not to be any reflective on the nominee or the process. We're definitely going to do the hearing, but I wanted to alert the community and everybody. That's the reason why we're not able to hear that nomination today. That being said, we'll go to 785, submitting for consideration and confirmation, not to the 911 board. Gubernatorial nominee Stacy Ferreira for a term to expire 06/30/2028. And first up for testifying on behalf of the nominee is Reed Mahuna, again, Hawaii Police Department. He is in support with the department. Maui Police Department, Davalin, Ricadio again, EMS, strong support for the nominee in writing. We have Chief of Police for Kauai Police Department, They have written in strong support of the nominee, as well as Elliot Key of the Kauai Police Department, and Mark Ozaki, Deputy Chief of Police for the Kauai Police Department. A lot of strong support, and an individual, Corey Schaefer, in support as well. That's all we received in support of the nominee. Anybody here wishing to testify in support of the nominee? If not, I'd like to turn it over for the nominee. Thank you for being here. You can go ahead and say a few words about your nomination if you like, and then we'll probably have a few questions. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, everybody, for having me be part of this process. Again, my name is Stacy Pereira. I'm a captain with the Kauai Police Department. I oversee our support services section currently, and I was formerly the sergeant in charge prior to several promotions in charge of our PSAP for approximately 6 years before getting promoted. So I'm very familiar with PSAP operations, and I'm excited to be part of the board again.
Great, thank you so much. Sorry about that, we're just trying to get everything coordinated here. You've heard a conversation going on, especially about the PSAP and the county fundings and allocations. You care to weigh in on that conversation at all?
Sure, absolutely. So on our end, obviously every year right now we're right around budget time, and each PSAP will have to submit their budget proposal of the different things that are coming. It includes technology as well as training. And every year we revisit this budget. And allocation, it's a big part of what both of the nominees had already said, right? When we go in, so for example, each of us have CAD systems, and it's not something that every single year you're buying a brand new CAD system. So it is a staggered a lot of times with the different PSAPs on larger type projects. We try to coordinate with each other that we're all not going for the same large project all at once, because technology is expensive, right? One of our largest, moving forward, next generation 911 will be a very, very large expense. However, what it does bring us all together, right? So we will be all on the same 911 system. So in terms of what we'll be learning and what our telecommunicators will be learning, in theory, we all learn the same thing. So in theory, if there was some sort of natural disaster and we had to support each other, we could, not necessarily from being an island away, but that's the great part about bringing all the different islands together, is having that multidisciplinary training with the same technology. We have different CAD systems, but our 911 system would be the same. And that's been working out fairly well for us. And that is something that we're looking forward to next generation. There's still some things we need to work out in terms of policy internally, right? Making sure our people are ready for this technology that we're about to receive, because it does bring a lot of responsibilities back to our telecommunicators. And we want to make sure that they're ready for that as well.
No, that's a really important point, Stacy. Thank you for bringing it up, that the training and the support of personnel who are working, especially with all this information that will be sent to them theoretically.
Absolutely.
Right. Do you have any questions?
No.
No, if not, thank you so much for joining us from the beautiful island of Kauai, and appreciate you being here. We're going to do the DM here shortly, okay?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, that concludes the hearing on all the nominees, so we'll go ahead and take the vote at this time. First one, GM 773 for Ms. Paula Youngling for the Procurement Policy Board. The recommendation of the committee is to advise and consent. Members, questions, comments? If not, Vice Chair, 773, advise and consent. Thumbs up.
Okay, Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Hashimoto is excused. Senator Moriwaki,
Aye.
Senator Owa is excused. The measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you much, everybody. GM 749, Elizabeth Gregg, 911 Board for a term to expire 06/30/2027. Very proud to recommend that we advise and consent to the nominee as well.
Just in time to vote.
Oh, just in time for your vote. Any last minute thoughts? No, okay. With that being said, we'll go ahead and roll right into the vote on the nomination. We will advise and consent. I vote yes.
On Governor's Message 749, Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Hashimoto.
Aye.
Senator Moriwaki.
Aye.
Senator Owa is excused. The measure is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. 783, consideration confirmation 911 Board for Mr. Stephen Courtney for a term to expire 06/30/2029. Very happy and proud to recommend that we also advise and consent. Members, questions, comments? If not, Vice Chair, advise and consent. I vote yes on 783.
And the vice chair votes aye. Senator Hashimoto?
Aye.
Senator Moriwaki?
Aye.
Senator Ross excused, measure passes.
Okay, as we noted earlier, GM 784, in case anybody jumped in late, due to an unexpected emergency, we are going to postpone this hearing to another day to accommodate for this unexpected issue. Next up, GM 75, consideration and for confirmation 911 Board, Stacy Pereira for a term to expire 06/30/2028. Very also happy to recommend that we advise and consent to the nominee. Members, questions, comments? If not, Vice Chair, 785, I vote yes.
With the members present, are there any no votes or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted.
Okay, this concludes our GM hearing. Thank you so much for being here. And congratulations, you guys. We really appreciate you. Let's take a quick Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the joint hearing now between Government Operations and our amazing friends from Public Safety and Military Affairs, Thursday, April 2nd, 2026 at 3:15 p.m. Conference room 225. One item on the agenda, SCR 62, requesting the 911 Board establish or utilize an appropriate working group to engage with the disability community to address continuing access issue in the state's emergency and 911 response system. This is a proposed Senate Draft 1. To testify on the proposed Senate Draft 1, we have the 911 Board. They have written testimony in support. We have the Hawaii State Council on Developmental Disabilities.
Hey, thank you, chairs, committee members. My name is Dane Bartolas, Executive Director for the Hawaii State Council on Developmental Disabilities, and we are in strong support of this measure. We sent in a kind of a long testimony for us, but I just wanted to emphasize on the second page that we've been working with the 911 Board. We're going to be, we are on their agenda for the next coming appointments, the next two. And they're bringing in the disability community, and we really appreciate it. So I really thank you guys, because you guys really helped get that into there and being able to be representative. That was really important. So everything that we've had on there, Royce have already said they are going to include it, and they're including us, so we're very thankful. Thank you so much for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being here in person. We have Executive Office on Aging. They are written in support. We have Aloha Independent Living in Hawaii. They are in support. We have Lou Erdashek from the Hawaii Disability Rights Center. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Senator McKelvey. I think you remember the hearing that we had on the bill to establish the separate 911, the SMART app for people with disabilities. And at that time, I think you and Senator Sam Buenaventura said that you would find a resolution to try to accomplish that. So I want to thank you. You are indeed a man of your word. You found this vehicle, and so we're in strong support of the resolution. It does appear that the parties are working well together. I think this will formalize that. It is important to take into account the needs of specific people within a disability community. So, you know, what do they think needs to be included? What kind of information would be helpful? So we think this resolution is great. So thank you again, Senator. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And just to clarify, it was actually myself and Senator Fukunaga who recommended that we do this resolution to show the support. On
Well,
this.
thank you too, Senator Fukunaga. We really appreciate it.
He's a big fan, by the way. Right on, Lou. Thanks for being here. Happy Easter. Okay, we also have a written from Johnny Mayle Perry. They are in support. Anybody in the audience wishing to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, are there any questions on this resolution? And just to clarify, this resolution is our commitment to the disabled community to ensure that their issues in the bill, although it did not advance, are addressed with the 911 Board. So because of that, I'd like to recommend we just adopt it as is. Okay? Yep. All right, sounds good. Any more questions or comments? If not, recommendation SCR 62 is as is. I vote yes. What?
It's an SD1.
Why is it SC1?
Because it's a proposed.
Oh, okay. Let me apologize. Let me pull back and redo this recommendation because we don't deal with much with proposed SD1s and resos. Because it is a proposed SD1, the recommendation is we adopted with amendments. Okay? All right, seeing none, Chair, SD1, I vote yes.
For GVO, Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Hashimoto?
Aye.
Senator Moriwaki?
Aye.
Senator Owa, excused, the measure passes.
Okay, thank you, members.
Oh, for PSM committee, same recommendation. Vice Chair Lee for the vote, I vote aye.
Voting on SCR 62, the recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Senator Hashimoto.
Aye.
Senator Inoue excused. Senator DeCourt.
Aye.
Chair, the recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.